Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm sharing my cinnamon roll recipe. This has that special dough that's made with only 2 ingredients. It doesn't require much kneading. We don't need to let anything rise. There's no yeast involved. Plus, it's got an added little bonus protein boost in there. So yeah, you guys asked for this one, so I'm sharing it today. All right, if you're new here, hi, I'm Claire. Welcome. Come on in, make yourselves comfortable. I love a budget recipe. I love cooking for one. I love a small kitchen appliance. We do a lot of that kind of stuff over here on this channel. So if you like that, come on in, subscribe, stay a while. Now, a while ago, I posted a video making a personal pizza. I will leave a link to it down below if you missed it or you want to go back to it or whatever. And the type of dough that I used, this is not something I've invented. This is very popular, but it's a dough that uses a combination of self-rising flour and yogurt, Greek yogurt, to make a really delicious hearty dough that has a lot of applications. And there's lots of other ways you can use that basic recipe with some slight modification. So today we're making cinnamon rolls with that dough. I will note, if you're in Canada, a lot of my Canadian friends have told me that self-rising flour is not popular there. So in the description down below, I will show you how you can make your own self-rising flour. I'll have a little recipe down there. Because once you have it already made, then it's like really easy to use in this dough. So you can just make it in a container and keep it there or whatever. So if you're in a region where self-rising flour is not popular, it's not hard to make. So I'll do that. And with that, let's get right into these cinnamon rolls. It's morning time. I've already had my coffee. The kids are at school and I'm ready for a cinnamon roll. So let's do it. All right, very few ingredients to make these, which we love. First of all, Greek yogurt. I would recommend using a vanilla Greek yogurt for this recipe. It just really elevates it with that little bit of vanilla. Of course, our self-rising flour. We also just have some plain white sugar, a couple tablespoons of salted butter, and some ground cinnamon. That's all you need. All right, the first thing we're gonna do is measure out our flour. You're going to need 1 3/4 cups of flour. I will say, this is to make like 12 cinnamon rolls. This is to make like a full pan. If you want, I can figure it out to where we can make like 2. And I'll post it in like a YouTube short. If you want a smaller recipe, we can sort those proportions out eventually. But today this is for a full pan. There we go. Next, this is optional. If you're trying to do like a lower sugar recipe, you don't have to put this tablespoon of sugar in with the dough. It will be sweet with the filling and with the glaze on top. That we'll do later. But guys, I want this to taste good, so I'm gonna put more sugar in. And to this, we're going to add 1 cup of our Greek yogurt. This Greek yogurt is from Aldi, and if you watch me and if you've seen some of my Aldi hauls in the past, you know we always keep this yogurt in the house. My son loves this. Like, it has to be this exact variety. He eats it almost every day. So we always have this in the house. So I'm pretty much always able to whip out a cinnamon roll all the time. All right, now I'm gonna mix this up until a ball forms. This dough is funky because it really feels like it's gonna be super dry when you start mixing it. It's not like we put any water or milk in here. But that yogurt will moisten that flour so quickly, and you'll be surprised at how sort of sticky this ball will get. Because at first, every time I do this, I'm like, gosh, there's no way that was enough yogurt. This looks so dry. And then it shocks me every time. It doesn't always feel great to get your hands in there, but I think it's faster. And if you watched my pizza dough recipe, then you'll notice that the ratios are a little different for the cinnamon rolls. The dough is a little bit stiffer. Now we're gonna knead it just a little bit. It's not super necessary to knead it like we're baking a loaf of bread. We just want it to be like a little smooth, you know? So just maybe 30 seconds of kneading. Now we're gonna roll it out. And it's okay if these are a little rustic, guys. It's not the end of the world. You want it to be about 1/4 of an inch thick and like in mostly a rectangle, right? All right, and in an attempt to make this super even and lovely, I'm gonna do one of these. We're just gonna add these pieces. All right, there we go. Looks good enough for me. Now we are going to melt our 2 tablespoons of butter. All right, there's that. And now we're going to mix up our cinnamon. Let's do it right on there. You're gonna need 1 tablespoon of cinnamon. A heaping tablespoon. To that, we're gonna add 1/4 cup of sugar. All right, now we're going to just brush this butter on. And it's okay if you don't use the whole 2 tablespoons to spread this evenly. In the past, I've tried it with 1 tablespoon and it just like wasn't enough. But sometimes there are like a few drops left in the bottom when I use 2 tablespoons. So, you know, whatever floats your boat. Actually, so I don't waste this little tiny bit that's left, I'm gonna go ahead and grease my 9x13 pan with this butter. There we go. Save the cooking spray for another day. All right, and now we're just going to sprinkle our mixture on top. I have found that even if I'm not making cinnamon rolls with this dough, if I'm even using a traditional dough, I like slicing the dough first and then rolling them up. And especially with this dough, because of course it's not developed that really elastic gluten like a traditional cinnamon roll, this will be a lot easier to do this way. So I would recommend it. It's also like pretty easy to portion it out into 12 portions as well. And of course, I'm just gonna eyeball it because that's how I roll. We're gonna start by cutting it in half. And then we want each half to be cut into thirds. So like there. There. So cut each of those in half again. There you go. And now all we have to do is roll them. Now the ones on the end will probably be the most difficult just because those were the ones where we added all those extra little pieces in. And there we go. I don't know, usually on the end pieces, I put those funky parts facing down. You could use a smaller pan if you wanted them all to like touch each other, you know what I mean? Like that type of cinnamon roll. I'm not though, it's fine. You could use like, I think like an 8x8, you could really pack these cinnamon rolls in there if you wanted them to be like the type where they are all like swollen and touching each other. I don't know, I make mine, again, like I would do from a can, where I would just like set them individually. So let's bake them. All right, I have my oven preheated at 350 degrees. These are gonna take like 20 to 22 minutes. We'll start them at 20 and then we'll take a look. All right, there we go. Oh my God, they smell so good. I wanna eat them right now. Now, of course, is the hardest part. We have to wait for them to cool before we frost them. As far as frosting goes, do what you like. You don't even have to use frosting if you're not in the mood for it, or glaze or icing or whatever. You can also use the stuff that comes in a can. If you don't want to try that hard, that's perfect. Personally, I like not a super thick, I like a thin sugary drizzle. So I'm going to be making a really simple icing just out of milk and some powdered sugar. So really easy, but it does need to be a little bit cool or it will just like melt right off and then they won't look pretty and they won't be that good. So you gotta wait. They are pretty much cool, but not totally, because I want to eat one while it's a little bit warm. So now we are going to make the glaze, and I'm not going to use any measurements for this glaze. I'm just going to use my eyeballs. It's not that hard. If it's too liquidy, add more powdered sugar. If it's too thick, add more milk. It's really easy. I'm going to put like, if I had to eyeball it, I would say there's probably like half a cup there. I'm going to break up any like lumps if there's any in there. And now you just need a little bit of milk at a time, okay? It's seriously, if you don't want the most insane amount of icing, just add your liquid very slowly. Because then if you have to add more powdered sugar, and then you have to add more milk, and then you have to add more powdered sugar, you don't need to make a gallon of icing, okay? Little bit at a time. And of course, if you want like a thicker, more frosting-like consistency, do it. I'm not the boss of you. You make these however you want. I definitely prefer like a glaze over, you know, a frosting. Oh my gosh. I want to eat these so bad. I am so hungry right now. All right, finally, it's happening. They're so good. Perfectly cooked. Toasted on the outside, tender on the inside. It's definitely not going to be as like puffy and fluffy as a traditional yeast dough, but that's kind of something we knew coming into it. And if you're okay with that and you just need something to hit that sweet spot and you want a little extra protein, this is a total vibe. All right, you guys, there you go. Cinnamon rolls made out of very simple dough. I was gonna say 2-ingredient dough, but technically we put a little bit of sugar in the dough, didn't we? 3-ingredient dough, whatever. Anyway, Greek yogurt dough made into delicious cinnamon rolls. If you're really into this dough, if you loved the pizza, if you like the cinnamon rolls, and you wanna see other things you can make with the 2-ingredient dough, let me know down below and we will keep going. I will ride this train. Of course, come back for more content like this, and I will see you guys in my next one. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.